I am Marwan Cameron, and this is the Conduit. All right, y'all. You know what time it is. I got a little bit of echo going on, but it is Wednesday night. And, we've got our show with Pastor Reverend Ellington. And so he'll be coming on here in a couple minutes. So definitely excited about that. Make sure everything is going well. And we'll get into it tonight. I'm really excited about this show. I think this is going to be a good one. Got a lot to talk about. Rev hasn't been on a little bit. So there's some updates that he'll give. And then we're going to jump into it. All right. So it's a little, it's been a little windy today. And I've been having just a devil of a time with my system. It's been crazy. So, got to fix that thing. Hold on real quick here. Where's that coming from? I see. I see where that echo is coming from. All right. So we're at the middle of the week. It is December 1. Man, we're here. This is the last month of the year. All kinds of different things going on. A lot of things to be concerned about. Oh. I'm just reading the text here. As you know, on Monday, we talked about the Omicron variant that is kind of running rampant right now through the world. So we're waiting to see whether that's going to be mild or how that's potentially going to affect us. So you've got that. I'm definitely concerned about, maybe this is mild. If you watched the podcast the other day, as I was playing some of the newscasts from some of the other countries, and one of the medical professionals were saying, maybe we're lucky and this will be mild. When a medical professional is telling you, hopefully you're lucky, that's a concern, right? Because at some point in time, your luck is going to wear out. So my true concern is this. We're dealing with the pandemic. We're dealing with this virus. And we know that it's going to mutate, right? We had alpha, beta, delta. We even had mu that turned out to be nothing. And even if this Omicron turns out to be nothing, how many times are we going to roll the dice before we get this thing handled? So when this thing mutates, and you can already, when I talked about the technical piece of it, right, it has so many more connectors to it than the Delta does. When it comes down to it, when that next one hits, that is more lethal and it takes over, we're not going to be ready to respond. There's so much COVID fatigue, right? And that's even not just with the people, but at the government level. We've already spent billions of dollars. So how long do you think it's going to take before they shut things down? They start sending out PPP money. They start sending out stimulus checks. They start enacting unemployment again. They put a moratorium on eviction. How long do you think that's going to happen? And we're coming up on midterm elections. My true fear is this thing is going to mutate or something else comes along, and the hesitancy from the government side of it is going to cause a lot of senseless death as they waffle back and forth on what to do because they're so hesitant to take decisive action. And you can see that they can because, what did Biden do? Oh, hey, 8 countries in Africa. This new strain is out. We're shutting the border off Monday. That's it. That thing popped up over the holiday weekend. And then boom, it was like Monday, we're stopping travel. So they have the ability to take swift and decisive action. But when they don't, we're watching this lag. So that's a huge concern that I have. So that's kind of, the big thing that's going on this week. But like I said, Wednesday night, so glad to have the Rev back. Excited about that. He's got some really good news that he's going to share with us on things and the direction that he wants to take his congregation and his church into. And we're going to talk about that this evening. So definitely looking forward to that. Thank you there, Mr. Dent. And no sound echo. Yeah, I appreciate that. So let me go ahead and he's in the green room, sipping on his drink and eating on some food. So I'm trying to let him, get a couple bites in before the show starts. He's cracking up. So y'all can't see him, but I can. So he's thanking me. He's like, "Thank you, brother. Let me go ahead and get a couple bites of this food down." Right now, if you can see him, it would be like an episode of Mukbang for sure. Getting his smack on and everything. He can't even chew right now. He's laughing. That might be a different one, huh? Mukbang with the Rev. So that would be a good one. But yeah, he'll be coming up in just a second. We're gonna let him get a couple more bites. When you're running the church, you're tremendously busy, and you also have family duties, so you're juggling all those things. So we're gonna let him do his thing. But he's here. We've been looking forward to getting back to doing our shows, and there's so many different things to talk about. And as you hear me say, power is taken, it is not given, and so it is up to us to start instituting the things that we want to see in our communities and the way that we want to help people in our community. We can't wait for someone else to do it. And what I appreciate about the Rev, I call him the Rev. He's pastor now, Pastor Reverend Mr. Michael Ellington. And he'll tell you, just don't call me late for dinner. And he might be a little late for dinner now, which is why he's eating. He's shaking his head. But I appreciate his willingness to listen to folks, have open conversations that many folks would not have, right? Especially on a field that is not their home field, where they are in their safety, and talking about what kind of things can we do to change the culture of the church and bring more people in. So he is open to that and has ideas. And so I'm very appreciative of him for being so open in that way. So just excited to continue working with him and looking forward to what 22 and the years beyond that go, as we are blessed to continue on, right? Because tomorrow ain't promised. So, YOLO. And YOLO, the Christian YOLO. You only live once. So you better make it good, because tomorrow ain't promised for sure. But Rev, what I'm gonna do is, while you eat, I'm gonna show a video because I wanted to get your response on the other side. I didn't want to do another podcast. I wanted to get your feedback on it. Um, this was particularly disturbing, and I wanted to show this. And this is, before I tee this up, I've got to warn you, this is tremendously graphic, um, and disturbing. And so I say that when the news says it, they seem to sensationalize it, right? It's like, oh, this images may be disturbing to people. What do you mean maybe? This should be disturbing to people, right? This is disturbing. And you are gonna see police violence, unfortunately. This time, this is not a BIPOC individual. So this is a white man that is suffering from this police violence. This is senseless, heinous. Um, and one of the things that I tell my staff, and by proxy, my staff tell other staff members, is we have to be tremendously careful when we are out in public right now. If you've been watching the news, a pregnant woman had road rage, and guy followed her to her house. She went inside. I think she hit him. So he followed her to her house, right? Because, like, I'm gonna call the police on you, and we're gonna have the police show up. She goes in, gets a gun, the guy shoots her dead. Well, luckily for him, the witness that saw the accident was actually followed him also, And so he had someone to corroborate the story. And it's like, this lady was angry, hit me, drove away. Yes, we're going to follow her to make sure that we get her information. She goes in the house, gets a gun, and now I've got to protect myself. Kill the pregnant woman. There's another instance just today of a video I watched. Woman having road rage, weaving in and out of traffic, slamming on her brakes. And it pisses off two guys behind her. So they start following her, ends up shooting her in the head. You've heard me talk about different stories about people being shot in the checkout counter at Walmart on multiple occasions. We are in a time now that you must check your own emotions. You don't know what the mental capacity of the person that you are around is dealing with. Layla and I were shopping at Walmart, just the local one here in the summertime. It was right around the 4th of July. And we're in the home and garden section, and we're on one corner, and this guy walks in, and on the loudspeakers, they're saying, hey, if you want to get your vaccine, come to the pharmacy. And he started cursing up a storm, and he's yelling at the people on the loudspeaker. And it's like, come here, baby. You don't know what's going to happen. We're just in Walmart having a good time looking at the 4th of July stuff. And this triggered this gentleman. I can't get my emotions to where he is fast enough. You got to be careful when you're out there. So let me play this video, and then I'm going to bring on the Rev and get his feedback on there. Again, this is graphic. If you have small children, you may want them to leave, or you may want to have that hard conversation with them, because I mean, this is what it is. This is the Young Turks, fair use. Let's get into it.
And the cop decides to put 9 bullets in him and put it in his back. But that's exactly what happened. Here's the video.
Got his knife in his other hand. Okay. You got to go to the store, sir.
Stop now. You need to stop.
Bravo 8 shots fired.
That man is dead. Shot in the back in a wheelchair by a cop. He's dead. Let me give you some background to this extreme criminal action by this cop. This happened in Tucson.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it and welcome the Rev to the show.
Wow.
Rev, welcome to the show. It wasn't my intention to bring you on like this, but my heart at the end of right before the show was I needed you to see this and the audience to see this, because one, it's not always a Black victim or a BIPOC victim, but this is, I would say, I don't know, we can't compare murder, but this is bad.
That wow.
He didn't have a chance.
Okay, well, thank you for having me on the show. You could have eased me in a little bit, bro.
Sorry, Rev.
Man, I gotta gather my thoughts. I had not I hadn't seen that video, and I got a flood of thoughts, kind of just racing through my head right now. I'm appalled.
Well, let me do this, Rev. Let me play a little bit more so you can get some context behind it while you kind of gather your thought. Like I said, this was shocking, right? I mean, 9 times.
Yeah.
9. I mean, and he came up from behind him. Like, what threat can this man possibly pose to you?
Yeah.
Philly Club, you could have kicked the wheelchair over. You didn't have to close you could have kept your distance. I mean, gather your thoughts, Rev. I'm gonna play some more for context, but yeah, this
Okay.
was like,
Okay.
wow.
Man, yeah.
Arizona. The cop was fired after the video showed him fatally shooting a man in a wheelchair 9 times. 9. Damn near trying to empty the clip. Okay? This was pretty swift as far as the video coming out. The police agencies, they're not standing with this cop. According to Channel 12 News, the fired officer was identified as Ryan Remington, a 4-year veteran of the force. The Arizona Republic reported that Remington had been working off duty at a Walmart. You heard me. Off duty as a security guard. Security guard.
And what I was saying earlier was there's been so much violence, particularly at Walmarts, which a lot of us shop at. And again, you can't raise yourself to that level of anger or aggression faster than folks that are dealing with mental health issues. And this goes for law enforcement also. That man didn't have a chance. The people that were getting killed in the checkout line because there's an argument didn't have a chance. You don't know what people are dealing with. And so we can keep it 100. We can be Billy Badass. We can do whatever. It's not worth your life. This is senseless. You just got to let these things go. It's one of the reasons, and this is before COVID, but I know stuff is going to happen at the checkout, right? Someone's going to pay with a bunch of change, or they're going to try to write a check, or, they don't have enough money, or the check stand, the receipt runs out and it takes a while to get someone over there. Oh, they got to call and get some help. So you're just standing there. It's like, man, I got other places to go. They're chatting it up and you're like, come on, keep it pushing. You see this line, open up some more checkers. All these things happen and it can frustrate you. So my emotional intelligence tells me, look, you know what? I know when I go to a grocery store, when I go to Walmart, that line is going to be long. I'm just going to relax. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. And people are really surprised by that. But I know that I want to come home. Layla needs me tomorrow. Layla needs me next week. I'm going to protect myself, but I know that I don't need to kick these hornets' nests. We're walking around walking hornets' nest.
Okay. The man that was shot was identified as a 61-year-old male. His name is Richard Lee Richards, who previously had past run-ins with the law. I really don't care about his past run-ins. He was a victim, a murder victim, in my opinion. Here's a picture of Mr. Richards. Okay? So let me tell you what happened here. The incident reportedly started at the Walmart when an employee told Remington that Richards stole a toolbox. Okay, I don't give a damn if he did steal a toolbox. A toolbox does not equate to human life, right? Remington tried to stop Richards and ask him for a receipt. Richards then pulled out a knife and said, "Here's your receipt," according to police. The knife, however, is not visible in the video from a camera in the Walmart parking lot, which shows Remington following Richards toward the Lowe's. After Remington, the cop, opens fire on Richards, video from Lowe's shows the officer handcuffing the victim on the ground after he falls out of his wheelchair.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. Again, even if he said, "This is my receipt, I've got a knife." One, clearly the cop was behind him. So even when did that conversation happen where he could whip around fast enough so that you could shoot him in the back? For shoplifting? Senseless. This is senseless. Rev?
Man, this is it's appalling. It's despicable. It's man, that hurt. That really hurt seeing that. That hurt. That really, really hurt. So there's, like I said, there's a lot to be said about this. A lot to be said about this. Don't know where to begin, so I'm just gonna kind of begin. So please don't take it as like me prioritizing any one thing. But you know, I didn't see any threat being posed. Um, by that individual. And who knows, he's in a wheelchair. Okay, let's give Ryan benefit of a doubt. Maybe he's faking it and don't really need the wheelchair. He's just joyriding in it while he's out on a shoplifting spree. Okay, so he's a healthy, fit individual, in a wheelchair, out shoplifting. Let's say he actually did steal the item. We don't know that either right now. He's healthy. He's just kind of, joyriding in a motorized wheelchair, out stealing at the Walmart. Again, you're absolutely right. He didn't have any fear of his life, that any reasonable fear for life. The guy's driving away from him. You're a healthy, physically fit, person, being employed as a police officer, in the force, so there's no threat to your life, even. And we can give the benefit of the doubt, and I don't know if people noticed that, but it said, according to police, the police said that he said, "Hey, here's your receipt," and flashed the knife. That's what the police said. I paid attention to that. That's what the police say. Police always say stuff after they shoot somebody. But anyway, so there's no explanation that you can give for shooting him in the back. And then we go to the fact that this was 8-9, shots in the back. There's no explanation you can give for saying, for sitting there and shooting that many times, for a person that's driving away from you in a wheelchair. And so this isn't even one of those cases where it's like somebody in the car and they're in a motor vehicle, they could kill me with that car. What are you afraid of? He gonna run over your toe and you get a bunion? Like, come on, it doesn't add up. What also frustrated me about that video was, what I picked up on was that there was a second officer there, because that was the angle that the video is being shot from, that they showed was this second officer's body cam. And this officer shoots 9 times at a defenseless man. And my thing is, being a gun owner, I'm told, like, hey, I can use my gun to defend my life or defend the life of other people. This officer did not at one moment turn around, say, hey, put your hands up, freeze, stop, or try and, defend this defenseless man's life. That lady cop, I think it was a lady cop, she did nothing in defense of this man's life. She just stood there with her weapon pointed at him while he was gunned down, and did nothing in defense of his life. And so she should be charged with something as well, because she has a duty as a police officer to defend the life of citizens, and it don't matter who's that threat is coming from. And this officer is sitting here unloading his weapon. She has to know, like anybody else of us, like, this is wrong. And even at the moment, and I can maybe give her the benefit of the doubt, because I know when I watched it, when it was happening, I was just like, whoa, and it just kind of like shocked me, because he was unloading. And so maybe she was shocked and stunned for a minute, but like soon after, she should have snapped back and like, hey, put your hands up, you're under arrest, like, do your job. My problem is, and which another thing I noticed, in the beginning of the report, it's, Officer Ryan immediately fired, and then there's no more officers, just Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Remington or whatever, right? So they're no longer saying cop or officer or whatever, like they like to do in other situations where bad actors perpetrate violence upon the citizens of this country. They want to like throw out this title instead of their birth name, their government name, right? So now, because this is so despicable, you have this elderly 61-year-old man being gunned down in the back 8-9 times. Everybody wants to disassociate with them, so it's like, yeah, we're not gonna give him that coverage of calling him a cop or officer in the story. We're gonna call him by his name, right? But in any other situation, it's like, well, the officer this, and then the officer did this, and then the officer did, and so they constantly kind of give them that coverage and that benefit of the doubt of officer, right? And so now it's like, hey, let's disassociate. And I kind of missed it. I don't know if they said that the police union was supporting him or not supporting him.
Oh, they fired him.
Yeah, I know the police department fired him, but usually the unions, kind of will stand behind their officer no matter what. So I'm gonna have to re-listen to that and see if they were actually standing behind him or not. But just all around appalling. And it was so much to that story, and I just like, and like the reporter was saying, a toolbox isn't worth a person's life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth the person's life, so it's just like, how could you, and he was so bold, what I'm saying, and just so calm about it, and here's my thing, right? A lot of more advanced countries, right? They require more out of their officers, and I think that's our problem. We don't require as much out of our officers. This guy, in my opinion, and I don't know him, but just off of what I just saw there, he had a gun and he was, looking for a reason to use it. He wanted to know what it was like to shoot somebody, to kill somebody, and he took the opportunity, regardless of what the cause, how minor. He was like, hey, I'm invested with this authority. I'm an officer. I'm going to pull my weapon and I'm going to use it, and he had probably pulled that weapon so many times without having to fire it and actually shoot somebody, and he wanted to finish the process, like, hey, I'm pulling it, but I'm not using it. He wanted to use that weapon, and that's why he fired so many times, because he wanted to do that. He had probably been fantasizing about that, and so, like I was saying, other countries, they require more out of their officers. They require them to have college degrees. They require 2 to 3 years of training. They require deep mental mental what do they call it when they check? Thank you. Mental evaluations, stuff like that. We need to require this of people that we are giving, the right to take a human's life, to say, hey, you go through 6-8 months of training, and now here's a gun, go ahead out in the streets, at the least require some extensive mental evaluation to see if this person, can be trusted with, other humans' lives. Because essentially what we say when we put an officer on the street with deadly, weapons, we're saying, hey, we entrust you with the lives of our community. And when they fail, which happens way too often, and unfortunately happens to us more than anybody, but it does happen to other races. It does happen, and I'd be the first to admit that.
Here's an example of it. This is a white man.
Yeah,
this isn't a black or brown person. And for those of you that are just joining us, I'm going to show it one more time because I see we've got more viewers in, and Rev's been talking for a minute, so you may not know the context. But there was a heinous, senseless murder by the police. This is graphic. And we're just going to play it from the spot here.
Got his knife in his other hand. Okay. You're not going to the store, sir.
Stop now. You need to
Bravo 1-8 shots
What was
fired.
the knife shop for?
get my back.
And then he handcuffs him after that.
Yeah, did you see that? Like he shot him, and that's why I said he wanted to shoot somebody. He didn't care who it was. He just wanted to shoot somebody because you see, he pow 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 pow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he wanted to do that. It wasn't. This shooting wasn't about stopping him from harming somebody. This wasn't about anything. It wasn't about the shoplifting. It wasn't about anything other than that man Ryan wanting to shoot somebody. Ryan, he had some type of fantasy or whatever you want to call it to shoot somebody, and he felt like he had an opportunity to do it, and he took it. And this is sad. This is so sad. I mean, like, come on. This guy posed no threat whatsoever. There's no reason for this. There's no excuse. There's nothing. I mean, come on, man. This man's family. I don't. When did this happen?
I don't know what happened. This was reported today, so I didn't get to see the end of this. Yeah, it's recent.
Well, they probably just celebrated Thanksgiving together. Looking forward to the holidays coming up, Christmas, celebrating it with this was somebody's son, somebody's brothers, uncle, father. Like he had people that loved him. They cared about him, and like, come on, come on. This is senseless. This is,
Well, I wanted to get your raw thoughts on that. For me, this is the reason why there should not be qualified immunity if you're doing your job, and you have to protect the lives of yourself or others, and it's justifiable, then those things will bear itself out. But when we start, building in these protections for folks, then they're supposed to protect and serve. Neither of those things happen in this sense. And what you were saying is also true, right? With the female cop, and you could hear her saying, "Sir, don't go into the store." She's running up on the scene, and then her partner or the other officer, may not have been a partner, just open fires. Right? This wasn't 1 or 2 shots. This was 8 and then a 9th, and then handcuffed him while he was on the ground, and he dies.
Yeah.
Like what kind of threat is this person posing? Now, what is scary to me, Rev, is again, when we look at the verdict for Rittenhouse, right? Which is folks want is an excuse to say, hey, I was afraid for my life, right? He was using the excuse that we've heard many officers say when it comes to primarily black men, right? I was afraid for my life, so I had to. And then they get away with that. And then Rittenhouse gets away with that. So now you've got regular civilians that are saying, well, you know what? I can instigate something. And then as soon as this person retaliates, gets loud, defends themselves, then I can shoot you, right? And that was what the Arbery case was. Well, he came at me, so I had to protect myself. You surrounded him and pulled out shotguns. What do you expect him to do, right? So they're instigating it and then saying, well, I was afraid for my life. I had to defend myself. And then you see this situation here. So this is a really scary time. And so this is what makes me very concerned and why you do need to protect yourself, right? Don't go out looking for trouble, but you must be situational awareness. You need to know what's going on. You need to be careful. And I don't know if it's social distancing, but the violence, the aggression is from the adults. from law enforcement. You see our politicians are off the chain in the things that they're saying and doing. You see what happened January 6th. And even our kids in school. There's another mass shooting yesterday in Oxford,
Detroit.
Michigan.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I've
So
seen that.
this is everyone. This isn't one subset. This is children and adults. This is a very scary time.
Well, we're seeing, you know, prophecies being fulfilled is, you know, what is happening, you know, as far as all of the violence, you know, and the chaos, you know, the misery, the destruction, just all of it. These are biblical prophecies being fulfilled. You know, I was this weekend at our worship service, you know, I was kind of testifying to the church, you know, at the end of the service, Pastor Emeritus Litton, you know, preached, and I was telling the congregation, I'm like, you know, he, you know, when I first started going to New Horizon, I used to hear him always say, you know, biblical prophecies being fulfilled every day, biblical prophecies being fulfilled every day, and I didn't really understand what he was talking about, you know, but it made me dig into my Bible even deeper, because I'm that type of person. Like, you know, when the pastor say something, you know, and you know, he put it on the Bible, it's like, all right, let me go see if this is in the Bible. You know, like I when I got into church, you know, I always came with pen and note paper. I was taking notes. I'm writing down scriptures. You know, if you say a scripture, say something, like, I'm going back, I'm checking it. Then I'm gonna check the context. You know, like, I'm examining you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just finna, you know. So that was the type of person I am, right? But my point is, you know, he would say biblical prophecies are being fulfilled every day. So I got to digging into my Bible more and more and more, and you know, now I am one to say the same thing. Biblical prophecies are being fulfilled every single day before our very eyes, you know. And when we look at what the word tells us, you know, for me, it just tells me that we're getting very, very close to that time of our Lord and Savior returning. Now, no man knows the day or
Yeah,
hour.
give me something different, because I mean that's true, right? You
Oh yeah,
know, and we hear that on in every pulpit every Sunday. So
yes.
what is intangible that folks can do, right? Because yeah, all right, it's the end days. You see these signs, great. What do I do with that? How do I protect myself and my family? Whether
Well,
it's spiritual and physical, because there you got to do both, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so first, I you know, and this is my whole heart here is we get prepared, you know, for his coming. You know, so in other words, it's time to get ourselves right. We can't keep on, you know what I'm saying, half stepping with God. Yeah, look, we can't. You know, you be killing me with that K, bro.
I'm just
Okay.
saying,
You mess me up every time. I don't know why. Like, I don't be prepared. I know it's gonna come sooner or later. I don't know. But seriously, we have to get ourselves prepared, you know what I'm saying? Because heaven is a prepared place for prepared people, you know. Jesus says he goes to prepare a place for us, you know, and the thing is, we must prepare ourselves, you know, for that place that he's preparing for us. You know, we're not just gonna walk in no any old kind of way. And he gave parables about that. You know, he get
give us
all of
a
his
tangible, man.
teachers.
What do we do? What do we do? What do we do to get ready?
Well,
This,
you know,
this is living in it now. So
yeah.
how do we,
Well,
what would you tell your congregation to tangibly get ready?
okay, to tangibly get ready is simply, you know, and it's not anything hard or anything like that. To get ready for Jesus is coming is to simply, you know what I'm saying, give ourselves over honestly, you know what I'm saying, and spiritually, honestly, you know, intellectually, honestly, give ourselves over to Jesus to make him Lord over our lives. And a lot of people like to say, yeah, Jesus is my Lord and Savior, but they don't live as such. You know, now it would take more than, you know, an hour or so that we usually do this to kind of, you know, break all of that down. But simply, you know, the most simplest way to say it is we have to be obedient, you know, to his commands, you know.
So,
And
so I'm gonna give you an example. What do I do tomorrow? You're telling me, hey, that we're in the end times, we're seeing the signs. I wake up tomorrow. What do I do? That's the
well,
tangent. Like, what? How do I
no,
physically go through
well,
my day tomorrow?
well,
Prepare.
I'm gonna tell you this. Tomorrow ain't guaranteed to you. So right now, this moment, you know what I'm saying, while you got breath in your body, you know what I'm saying, you honestly give yourself over to Christ, you know what I'm saying, and honestly make him your Lord and Savior. You know, if the Lord, you know, every moment moving forward, every minute moving forward, you take every opportunity that's presented to you to be obedient to him. You know, you can't be obedient if you don't know what the commands are. So you
All right, I'm
definitely
gonna keep pushing on you, Rev. You
hold
saying,
on. I'm finna give it to you. I'm giving it to you. Let me walk you through it. You know,
oh man,
yeah, you can't be obedient if you don't know what the commands are. So you have to, you know, get yourself connected with a good Bible-based church that's gonna teach the unadulterated word of God. You
but
know,
Rev,
gonna
it's 8 o'clock at night. You're saying that tomorrow ain't promised, so you saying
yeah,
you got to do it right now. It's 8 p.m. I need the tangible. What do I
bro.
do right now to get myself ready?
I'm gonna tell you, and you know, some people may not like this. I'm gonna tell you right now, you know what I'm saying? If it's 8:12 at night, if you just right now at 8:12 p.m. tonight saying, Lord, you know, I give myself over to you, honestly, you know, and you're being truthfully honest in your heart and soul, you know what I'm saying? And at 8, you know, 14, you gone, you know what I'm saying? Then like that's just it, you know. God, you know, you're covered as long as you're doing it honestly from your heart, you know, not just the mouth and the words, but you're
Okay,
honestly
so
in
let's
your
say I
heart.
did that. I've
So
done it now. It's
oh,
8:14.
okay,
I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. What do I do with the rest of the day? Like we need something
yeah,
tangible to do. This is one of
and
my challenges with the church. Let me
yeah,
jump real quick.
go
This
ahead,
is
go ahead.
challenges with the church, where the church says, well, you know what, you need to give your life over to the Lord, you need to find a church home, you need to study your Bible, you need to do all these things. Okay, that's great. I can start on that path, but that's a process. That's gonna take time, right? I got to
Mhm.
go visit some churches. I got to go get a Bible. I got to start reading it. I've got all the other things that I need to do. But I'm watching all of this craziness with COVID and violence and everything else. What can I do that's tangible, that's physical to help me get ready? So even if I did what you said a minute ago, I just gave my life over to God, honestly, what am I doing? What's my
So
next thing to do?
so okay, so let's be real, right? We live in this microwave society. Everybody wants everything boom, 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 but it doesn't work like that. It is a process, and it is going to take time, you know. And what you do is with the time that you have, you know, you devote it towards building a relationship with Christ, you know, getting to know who God is, getting to know his commands. And that takes joining the church, going to the studies, going to the worship services, you know, getting connected with a small group, you know, talking with your pastor, so forth, or whatever. All of these things, yeah, it takes time, you know. So it's not nothing that you can do overnight to just like be, you know, super Christian or whatever. Like that's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I'm
it
not
don't work
advocating
like that,
super
bro.
Christian. I'm
Go
I'm
ahead.
I'm advocating something else. What I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
so I'm not getting you then. Like
so
like
Rev,
break it
so
down for me.
let me try to break it down. So what I'm saying is, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying. I understand
Mhm.
it's a process. Maybe I grew up in the church. Maybe I was with the church. Maybe, you know, I had a church home. I left, and you know, I'm going to. My dad used to call it Sheetside Baptist, right? So that's when I'm in the sheets on Sunday morning, sleeping while everyone else is at church. So that was my church,
Okay. I
Sheetside
got
Baptist,
you.
right?
I got you.
So, okay, I'm seeing all this stuff going on. I'm concerned. I'm feeling like, okay, I do need to get reconnected with the church, right? I've watched this just like everyone who's watching us now, and thank you to all the viewers that are tuning in here. And I'm like, all right, so I've given my life over to God. I'm gonna start looking for a church home. I'll most Bible studies were on Wednesdays, so I'll go to church on Sunday somewhere, right? And I'll go ahead and dust my Bible off if I haven't done it. But what are some of the things that I can do to get myself ready? Because that is a process, right? So that
Ready for Sunday?
no. What I mean by the tangibles is with me telling people, look, when you are out there in the street, you have to have that situational awareness. You have to exercise emotional intelligence. You have to understand that you can't get yourself to that level of mental instability or that level of anger. You're not going to be able to raise up to that. So what do you tell people to do in that situation? So a lot of times, many folks in the church that are teaching, it's all good, and it's kind of like, okay, well, that's what you got to do. Give your life over to the Lord, get connected to the church. Like, all right, well, that's great. So then what do I do while I'm waiting for that to happen, right? There still needs to be, we're in a microwave society, and we do want it now, but many of us are willing to put in the work, but we still need to know what are some things that we can do to keep ourselves and our family safe that we can hold on to right now.
Okay. All right. Great ass.
And that may not even be
So,
really Christian based, right? But it's your opinion from a Christian lens.
Yeah. So, great ass. So you're saying like, hey, we're gonna take you, Marwan. You're asking me. You're like, hey, what do I do tomorrow when I'm out and there's chaos happening around me? What do I do? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me tell you right here, bro. One, what I'm saying, I will co-sign on everything you said. One, you have to walk out of the door with an expectation to meet the world that we live in today. You know what I'm saying? And what that means is, look, we understand that there's a lot of crazy folk, and and I'm not talking about mental health. I'm just saying like it's some ignorant folk out there in the world. You know what I'm saying? And so, like you said, when you go into the stores or you go anywhere, it's factor in delays, factor in rudeness, you know what I'm saying, factor in other people, you know what I'm saying, not being in the same, you know what I'm saying, emotional state that you're in. You know what I'm saying? It happened to me all the time. I deal with, folk that's just rude. You know what I'm saying? They upset that they got to be at their job. For whatever reason, they mad about being at work. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? I say, listen, the best thing is to kill them with kindness. You know what I'm saying? Love on everybody. I don't care how rude, how mean, or whatever else they being, smile and treat them as if everything they said out of their mouth was sunshine and butterflies. You know what I'm saying? And just love on them despite it. You know what I'm saying? Be the bigger person. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I'm going to be kind to you regardless of how you talk to me or deal with me, right? Two, you know what I'm saying? When that fails and they decide, you know what? I'm going to pull out my AK on you. Guess what? Have your AK ready too. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, I'm a pistol packing pastor. I don't play. Don't mess with me, all right? I'm going to love you. I ain't going to argue. I ain't going to fuss with you or nothing else. But don't, you know what I'm saying, take it to that level. You know what I'm saying? So I do advocate, you know what I'm saying, strongly for Second Amendment rights. You know what I'm saying? We live in a concealed carry state. You know what I'm saying? I would tell people to listen, you know what I'm saying, take some proper weapons training, you know what I'm saying? Familiarize yourself with some proper weapon safety courses and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then find you know what I'm saying, a weapon that you're comfortable with, you know what I'm saying, and arm yourself, you know what I'm saying, and be prepared.
Into number one for you. So, and I want to give you the scenario, and you tell me if you think I dealt with it, effectively. Okay. So I get what you're saying, and I tell folks all the time, and I would tell my students this too. Like when I say that you have a lot of power, you do, right? And so with the whole killing them with kindness thing is you can change a person's attitude by just being kind to them, right? Shout out to Mark from Res Echo. He's big on the 4 agreements, and not to take things personally and not to make assumptions and the issues that people have. It has nothing to do with you, right? They're going through something and it's coming out at you, but don't take that personal because it really has nothing to do with you. And so in that scenario, right? And I've seen it, right? I use it all the time where someone is short, they're exasperated, they come up and they had a bad experience with the customer in front, and then I talk to them and I make their day a little easier
Yep.
because like, hey, it's going to be okay when you get off work, and you just make that small talk and it just restores them, right?
Yep.
So now they can finish their last hour, their last 2 hours, and it changes how they're going to deal with you. And when you don't do that, they stay in that space and then you get that treatment. Now, my example was this. Last Sunday, Layla and I were at Walmart. We did a bunch of shopping and we were getting Christmas gifts for folks, and we bought a bunch of gift cards, right? And so we got up to the checker and they had a problem checking it. And so they had to bring a manager over to recheck it. Well, he had checked one of them for $220. And this was before he got to the end of it. He was able to check some more after. And so they had to start over and redo it. Well, at the end, I couldn't get the last card. And so what the manager said was, oh, well, you've reached the limit. They won't sell you any more cards. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense because the way that it rang up before, that's not logical, right? So I'm going to ask questions. Then it was, okay, well, if you can't put any more on this transaction, then I'll just buy this one cash, right? Or we can't do another transaction. Well, that doesn't make any sense because what you're telling me is that the customer behind me who wants to buy a gift card, you can't sell it to him? That doesn't make any sense. And
Yeah.
so the lesson that I had to teach my daughter was you're not going to accept bad service. And, in the Black community, a lot of us feel like, we have to show that we have money, right? So it's like, oh, I'm going to show you. I may tip even if I get bad service. I've had countless conversations with folks that do that. Like, why would you give them more money because you got treated poorly or mediocre?
Mhm.
You don't tip, right? Because,
Mhm.
the stereotype that Black folks don't tip well, whatever. So I have to teach her that you don't accept bad service. Now, you don't have to be rude. I'm going to have a conversation with you logically. And if it doesn't make sense, how do we go ahead and return the stuff? Because you're not going to get my money. You don't deserve my money, right? So we went over there, and of course, she's very she's conflict averse, so she doesn't like that, right? She can definitely tell there's tension. And so, she's kind of quiet, and we go to the customer service counter and we return everything. And, I'm talking to her and I'm like, sweetie, do you understand why we're doing this and why? And so, it's like, she doesn't want to say it. It's like, because we don't allow ourselves to be treated bad, right? So we're not going to be nasty or rude, but we're not going to accept that. So we returned it. She's a little quiet. We get to the car, and then she bubbles back up, and then we're good. But, it's, on the one hand, what you're saying is absolutely right? You do want to kill them with kindness, but that doesn't mean that you have to be a doormat. So give me your assessment on how I handled it.
I think you did it absolutely right. I am a big proponent of teaching children to advocate for themselves, and that's what you're talking about. Look, advocate for yourself. Just this evening, I had to take my daughter to the urgent care. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna let you run in there, and I'm gonna run down the Goodwill, while you run in there. She's old enough. She's 17, and but she's not used to that. So she's like, well, you're not gonna go in there with me? And I'm like, no, sweetie, you have to learn how to, do these things, because you're getting to that age, right? You got to learn how to, advocate for your medical needs as well, right? And so I had a quick pep talk with her. I'm like, listen, because she went last Sunday, and they sent her, back or whatever. I'm not gonna like get into her medical things or whatever. But anyway, so she had to go back, and so I'm like, hey, let them know that, what I'm saying, you came in last week, and whatever that was last week. Things aren't getting better, they're getting worse, and you need them to deal with the now. And I said, like always, you can say anything to anybody, just don't be rude with what you say. Learn how to advocate for yourself. You could talk to people without being rude. So we had that kind of conversation. And so it's all about, like, look, learn how to advocate for yourself. And I didn't taught my kids that since they were like kindergarten. Like, as soon as you go to school, I don't care what the teachers say, like, listen, be obedient, to what they're saying. But at the same time, you got to know those limits. You got to know how to advocate for yourself. And if all else fails, mom and dad are here for you. We got your back. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care who doing right and who doing wrong. So that's always my thing. Like, and I tell my kids even that with me, and their mom, like, hey, if you feel like what we're saying, you don't agree with it, or if you did something that, like, and we punish you and you don't agree with the punishment, like, advocate for yourself. Like, I sometimes I will purposely give my kids like an extra extreme punishment just to see, like, are they gonna, advocate for themselves, and I'm the type, like, I don't even want to punish you. I just want to have a conversation about it, because I feel like you're intelligent, I know you're intelligent, so let's talk about it. We could talk about it. I could tell you, what I didn't like about it and how I don't, want that type of behavior. And then I know you're smart enough to make the adjustments necessary off of that, right? So, like, I don't even like punishing my kids, like, like that. Like, let's just have a conversation. And then most things are one-offs. It's like, okay, you did that, don't do it again. Sometimes, kids get hard-headed, and some things are some multiples, but most things are one-offs. We just have conversations, but learn how to advocate for it.
Like, I did a good job in that scenario.
I feel like you did an excellent job, but I would have made her return it. Like, you go and return this, and said, like, advocate for yourself, like, put them in those situations. And you don't have to, like, at her age, you don't have to send her by herself, but put her in those situations where she has to do things, out of her comfort box, out of her comfort zone, so that she begins to learn how to, operate in the world, because the last thing you want is, like, okay, now she's 18, 19, and she's in the real world. And yeah, I've seen dad and mom do these things, but I've never had the experience of having to do it myself. So, like, I always, like, my kids, like, when they were younger, is like, yeah, I'm there with you, but you're going to do this. You're going to, go and whatever, and put them in those situations, because I'm not going to always be here. Dad, mom, and I tell my kids all the time, one day, mom and dad, we're going to, we're going to go the way of everybody,
Well, let me pull it back, Rev. So,
yeah,
because we're talking about the tangibles right now. And so I wanted to give you that example, right? Like, I'm hyper aware of what's going on in these communities, because, I consume so much of this as,
Oh yeah. You be schooling me, bro. Trust me, I know. You done schooled me more than once.
So I have a hyper, situational awareness of where I'm at. At the same time, I also know that I have to navigate around the world, and because it's crazy, there are some things that I may walk away from, but I'm not going to walk away from everything. But my lesson would be is, if you have to address a situation, try to take out the emotion, deal with it with logic. Know when you need to fall back. Do practice it, right? So the more you practice these skills, the better you get at it. And you do need to advocate for yourself. You were talking about, your daughter advocating for herself in a medical situation. I had 3 teenagers on from Bremerton High. Yesterday we were talking about advocating.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, it was Deborah's Corner on Tuesdays. That was yesterday. Oh, they came on. They were on last Tuesday too. So they were back again.
Okay. I think I seen the last one, because I know yesterday. Yeah, I didn't see nothing. Yesterday, trust me.
It was a good episode, and we were talking about kind of the historic treatment of Black people in the medical environment, and how there's still some issues and things of that nature, and how to advocate, which is one we need to talk about. Like, when I go to doctors like this. I don't put on sweats or jeans because there's biases, right? There's those implicit and explicit biases that people have. We know that there's a historical and institutionalized situations that exist in this country. And so I'm going to not give anyone any extra reasons, right? It's already, it's you're still going to see a black man, right? And you're going to make your judgments on there, but it's a little bit harder to make that judgment, if I'm wearing a hoodie and I'm sagging my pants or doing whatever. Yes, it should be my right to dress and do whatever I want, and I should get the exact same service and treatment as everyone else, but that's not reality in this world. So at the end of the day, I know I have to advocate for myself. I know I need what I need, and so I'm going to do what I have to do in order to get the services that I need for myself and for my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it so happens that, well, it just coincides with who I am and how I walk through the world anyway. So that makes it a little bit easier for me. But it is something that I tell folks, consider that. And I actually did an experiment at the college. So, this is how I look at the college. And so one day I purposely showed up late. I put on my Tim boots, I put on my big winter coat and my hoodie. It's zipped up, right? And so all the students are waiting at the door, right? Because it's locked. I walked in between all of the students and got my key in the door. And one of the students recognized my voice. Is like, excuse me. And I was like, Mr. Cameron, is that you? And none of them realized that it was me. So I walked through this sea of students and they had no idea, right? Because I didn't present the way that I normally present. I've done that on the first day of class where I've come in and I sat down like I was a student. And then I got up in the front and started, hi, I'm Mr. Cameron. This is the class, right? And they had no idea. And you could just look at the looks on their faces and they are in shock.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so it's just, and it doesn't matter who you are, black, white, or otherwise, right? We all have our biases. We're going to stereotype, right? It's one of the ways that we protect ourselves, right? We're going to look and we're making an assessment, whether it's right or wrong. We're going to go about that. Now, some people take it to the extreme and just say, "Hey, we're going to put something negative on what we see all the time," even though that's not the case. But so that when we talk about the tangibles, because I want to keep it there, what are the things that people can do in this heightened environment to keep themselves safe, but yet, again, not be a doormat, continue to advocate for themselves and navigate themselves through this. So we talked about this example. You talked about your Second Amendment rights, protecting yourself. And that may be, if you can't carry, because we know that in this country, they like to hit, us with felonies, so we can't carry. Then you find out what else you can carry. Do you have your pepper spray? Do you I don't have my keys here, but do you hold your keys with the key out like this and you're in a state of readiness? And some of that also is, what we teach our kids. If you get pulled over by the police, yes or no, sir, you got your hands on the steering wheel, you have your stuff ready, no sudden movements. When you leave out of a Walmart, they've got the greeters that are there and they're checking, random receipts. They used to always frustrate me because when it first started happening, it was like, always seems to be that you want to check my receipt, but the three in front of you didn't get picked. And so now I just, again, why am I going to allow that to stress me out? We know the world we're living in and they're going to do it. So you know what? I'm just going to have my receipt.
Can I say something on that?
Go ahead.
So, I left Birmingham for a few years, right? And I moved to Las Vegas in 2014. I was gone from 14 to 17. When I got to Las Vegas was the very first time I ever experienced a Walmart greeter asking me for a receipt. And I was like blown away. I'm like, huh? What is this? Because I had just left Birmingham and this wasn't a thing, Now, albeit the neighborhood that we would normally go into wasn't like the best neighborhood, and so like I looked around and I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is why, and so I complied with it at first. But to this day, I don't comply with that. And I refuse to comply with it, and I kindly, say, yes. They say, do you have a receipt? I reply, I say, yes, I do. And I keep walking, or if they say, may I see your receipt? I say, no, you may not. And I keep walking, and I'm polite, I'm not like cursing anybody out or reading them their rights like you see on the videos and stuff, no. But I don't comply simply because, this it is, at Costco, you sign a contract, there's a membership, like I can. Right. So I can understand that, right? That's part of the agreement to shop in that store. But, for me, I say, my reasoning is you don't ask to see my money when I come in the store. Put the cane down. I see you. I see you. Put the cane down. Don't you start.
Hey Rev, this is a special cane. You see the bottom of this cane? This ain't just a regular cane.
Is that a sword on the bottom?
Oh man, I say get the cane. I say get the cane.
But yeah, I say, look, you don't actually see my money when I come into the store. Why do you want to see my receipt when I leave? Like you allow me into the store under the presumption that I'm here to shop. Why don't you let me exit the store under the presumption that I shop? Now, if you think I didn't shoplift, call the cops, do your deal. We'll deal with it from there. But I refuse to show my receipts. No, I'm not doing that. I find it.
What I would say to that is, you definitely could do that. I won't say that there hasn't been a time where I haven't shown my receipt, especially if I see a bunch of them there. But what I would say is, do understand, and I didn't know I haven't seen it at our Walmarts here locally where they have off-duty officers that have guns that are protecting the Walmart. So this is probably in a Walmart that has a lot of crime and some issues. But just understand that situational awareness. Who knows? You may be approached by an officer that's there. I mean, the police are always at Walmart first and foremost. They're always there. Something's going on at Walmart. But if you don't show your receipt and they come to you or you get accused of something or whatever, it's just, for me, I know that's a potential that could happen. Yeah, is it going to piss me off? Am I going to be frustrated? Should it happen? No. But at the same time, I don't want to give these people a reason to act stupid, right? And
okay, so
video, he didn't have a chance. He didn't even have a chance to act stupid.
Exactly. Well, I won't say that he didn't, because that video obviously wasn't the beginning of their interaction, at least with Ryan and the deceased, right? So that video was not the beginning of their interaction. And here's my logic in it, right? One, I don't get frustrated and aggravated and stuff like that. Like, it takes a lot to kind of push me there, and that's usually involves like messing with my kids or my wife.
Yeah, that's good for you. You are a seasoned fan of the cloth. And talking to the audience that may need to hear.
Hey, I'm not telling them to do what I do. I'm telling you.
You're saying that it takes a lot for you to get riled up, but the conversations that I have with folks, they want to keep it 100. They're not going for it. They're ready to turn up at a drop of a dime. And what I'm trying to get across to them is, this isn't really the time for that. So you can keep but something could happen to you. So we know what we do. We can share.
Let me address that. Something could happen to you then. So let's get into that. And I guess that's where I was going with it. Something could happen, right? And when the something could happen does happen, that ultimately always happens, is the moment, and it's a split second where you have a choice to make, and that choice is, how am I going to respond? Now that's why I say you walk out of the door every day with the expectation of meeting the world we live in today. And if you walk out of the door with that expectation that I'm going to meet the world that we live in today, you're often a lot more capable of handling most situations. So if you walk out the door, somebody going to cuss me out. Somebody going to call me the N word, the B word, and every other word that, my mama didn't name me, right? I walk out the door with those expectations, so that way, no matter who it is that does this, I'm prepared to remain cool. I'm prepared to, maintain my dignity. right? Because ultimately, people can do things to try and degrade you, but dignity is a very hard thing to be taken. There has to be there's a point at which, saying, you comply with them taking your dignity. Now there's some forceful things that can be done to degrade a person, but we ain't gonna get into that. My point is, walk out of the door expecting to meet the world, so that when things happen, you already expect it. Like, what, something nasty was bound to happen, because people are who they are. And so now, in that split second, when it's time to make a decision of, do I get, crump with this, or do I, maintain my decorum and handle this, as the bigger person. And for me, I always say, what, I'd rather take the high road, because now I'm looking down on them, because they didn't already chose to take the low road. So I'd rather look down on you, like, for real,
I
because
do like that mindset, Rev. I think that's a powerful mindset to have. There's a saying that I like to say, hit dogs holler. And so folks can say things to you to try to trigger you. And if it's not applicable to you, first off, why would that even affect you? It's a lie. It ain't true. But I've seen a lot of folks get upset and get turned up because someone just said something about them that clearly wasn't true, but they're upset like it was true. You talked about my mama, but then
yeah,
even if it is something that may be true, you still have power over your own emotions and your own reaction. And
yeah,
therefore, they don't have power over themselves. So you actually already have control and power over them too, right? So what you're saying is absolutely right, right? You are actually above them in that scenario, because they're operating from a space of emotion and irrationality, right? And so you can go high in that sense, like Michelle Obama says, we go when they go low, we go high, right? Because you're in the superior position, and so you can control the outcome there. And again, when you think about the four agreements, right? It ain't about you anyway. So don't take
so
they
i've i've
their
i've
own
never i've,
garbage.
ne- I've never heard that term, the four agreements. Can you tell us what it is?
So the Four Agreements is a book by Miguel Ruiz, and what it talks about is, as you're walking through life, it's pretty deep, and we'll get into it another time, but it's pretty deep. And so, two of the agreements that we're talking about tonight is saying, hey, look, don't take anything personally, right? So as you're kind of walking through the world, we talked about the scenario at Walmart, or whatever the case may be. Don't take it personal. Whatever reason that lady didn't want to give me a refund, or whatever the issue was, I could have took it personal, and I could have got really emotional about it and said, "Oh, you just doing this because I'm black. Oh, you doing?" I could have went off and lost it, right? But I would have been taking it personal. Whatever the reason is, she doesn't know her job. She's tired. She's fatigued. She doesn't want to deal with it. Whatever the case may be, because it didn't make any sense, right? I'm also not going to make any assumptions on that, right? Because I don't know what's going on with her. And so a lot of times we take it personally because we're making the assumption that they're attacking us, and it's about us, but it's not. It's about whatever pain or trauma that they're going through. Another one is always do your best. So this is one of the agreements, right?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So always doing your best doesn't mean that you're always going to be at 100% capacity. When I had COVID and I was sick, my best isn't going to be the best that I can give you today. It's going to be the best that I can give at that particular moment in my life, right? So whatever stressors that I have, that's going on, right? I'm still going to try to give my best effort. And so these are what the agreements are about. And some folks try to live by these agreements. And so you can put these together with other things. I try to pull things from different spaces. So I pull things from, the Christian church, and try to apply that to my life, and then walk through the life that way. The four agreements, I try my best not to take things personally and not to make assumptions. We're going to do that. We're always going to fall short of that, right? We're not always going to be able to do our best. Some things are just going to get through, right? Today I'm feeling really strong, and there's nothing you can say to me. And then tomorrow, I'm not feeling it, and boy, you can say that one thing and I'm on you, and it is what it is. But the more you practice whatever it is that you're trying to do, sports or increase your emotional intelligence, the better you will get at it. And then when these situations happen to you, you won't find yourself. When I was younger, as an example, right? I was a hothead. So I was constantly getting mixed up in things, right? Well, as an adult, I'm still dealing with a lot of different situations, but because I deal with it in a different way, I don't find myself in conflict consistently. And so you see that with a lot of younger folks or older folks that just have a lot of drama swirling around them, and they haven't figured out how to not be affected by the drama, how to not get themselves into that drama, right? And that some of that comes from maturity, but a lot of that comes from just practicing going through it and understanding this ain't worth it. I don't need to do that. I'm a slow driver. I get teased about that now. I drive like a grandma because why am I going to be in a hurry? Right. So I'm cutting someone off in traffic or, they cut me off and they're all pissed off and laying on the horn. And now I'm angry and mad. And now my day is messed up, or the next few hours, I'm affected by them cutting me off. And they may not even have realized that they cut me off. It was an accident. Right. So now I'm in a whole different mental space and they have no idea. They're gone doing their thing. Right. So why would you give that situation or that person power over you? And they're not even cognizant of who you are. Right.
So a couple of things. I like that. And these are a lot of things I guess I've learned to just do subconsciously. I don't like necessarily title them or, say have names for them or whatever. It's just like, that's just kind of like, I just, that's how I flow. But one thing I want to kind of rhetorically ask, I guess I'll say it that way, rhetorically ask about the one agreement of making no assumptions. What about, because we're Black in America, when we receive those micro aggressions, that we know are, when we receive those racist treatments that are veiled as under microaggressions, so like they haven't said anything so overtly, but that this is racially motivated, and they're like treating you, what I'm saying, you're getting the treatment you're getting because of your race. Those are things we have to deal with, even though there's, like I said, there's nothing overtly saying like, yeah, this is racist. They ain't calling me the N-word, but the treatment that I'm getting versus the treatment that the person that was in line in front of me, who happened to be white, was completely 180 degrees turn, right? I'm getting the backside now. So under those points, technically you are making an assumption, because again, racism now likes to be like, yeah, are you sure that was racist? The way they try and do those dog whistles. Anyway, one thing I want to, as
you were
far as
asking me a question, I want you to let me answer the question there, because you were saying,
I said a rhetorical question, but go ahead.
Rhetorical, is it?
No. Go ahead. I'll let you answer it, and then I want to give another tangible, because we're getting close on that time. But I want to give another tangible.
Yeah, and the last agreement I didn't get to is being impeccable with your word, and those are the 4 agreements. But in that scenario that you just expressed, right? And I actually go through this a lot, where the front is super friendly and chatting it up, and how's the kids, Barbara? Everything's great. And then it's your turn, and they won't even give you any eye contact, right?
Yeah. Oh, my back hurting. What you want? Right.
So if you're looking at the agreements, it's saying don't make assumptions, right? And so, I don't know what's going on in her mind and in her heart. Is she being that way with me because she's a stranger? Is she being that way with me because she is being racist and she has some biases? Is she being that way with me? I don't know why, right? So I could spin all this through my head, but why? Why am I going to give that much energy? Now, and I'm talking about in this scenario here, right?
Okay.
Now, don't take anything personally, Now I could take it personal that she didn't try to find out who my kids are and how my kids are
No,
doing.
no. I ain't talking about like on that level, right? Let's more narrowly define this, right?
All right.
So
All right,
you
so let's say it is a racist thing. It is clearly a racist situation.
exactly. Come on, bro. We black. We know when it's clearly racist, right? Like you in line, the person in front of you in line, both of y'all got a 20-ounce Sprite. You know what I'm saying? Both of y'all paying with a $50 bill. She takes the white person's $50 bill, puts it in the tray. Bam, there you go. Hey, have a nice day. You know, it's all smiles and, you know, thank you for shopping with us. You know, please come again. You come and it's like, you know, and holding it up to the light. Then they marking it with the pen. They calling over the supervisor. Yeah, can you check this 50? You know, like both of y'all, you just got your 50 from the same bank that the other lady did because y'all both came out of the credit union. Y'all both went right straight to Walmart. Y'all both grabbed a, like, come on, this ain't, you know what I'm saying, normal. Like this is obviously, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's not, but again, you know, nobody said anything, you know what I'm saying? So it's not, you know, just like, you know, like, oh, this Ian got a 50, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying?
I hear
So
you.
like, what's the difference other than the color, right? Y'all both got on the same outfit. Y'all both 6 feet tall. Y'all both, you know what I'm saying, 150 pounds. Like everything's the same. Y'all both drove the same car to the store. Only thing different. Listen, y'all both got mustaches and a goatee. You know what I'm saying? Bald head. Ain't nothing different. Both wear glasses. Both of y'all got the same high school football ring on. Look, everything down to your shoelaces is the same except for the color of your skin. You know,
here's the thing, Red. Here's the thing, Red. First off, no one is this chocolatey with this smile. So God only made one of these. You know, I'm just saying. I get myself a but let me try to be impeccable with my word. In all honesty, it depends on what space I'm in at that time, right? And so, you know, I will always try to do my best. And so, but if I'm in a space where my, you know, emotional intelligence is down, then maybe I say something. But typically, it's the reason why I use the checkout as an example all the time, right? Because most of us do that. So we know that experience. So that's very real and tangible for us. And so the majority of people can identify with that. Because you see it, because you feel that, right? When you talk to someone in the front, and sometimes they may talk to 2 or 3 people, and it may not be, hey, Barbara, how's your kids? It could be, hey, how you doing? Did you find everything today? Hey, how you doing? Did you find everything today? And then it's your turn and they don't ask you that, right? Or they're very distant with you. Again, we go through so many microaggressions in a day. And so I have to tell myself, look, I'm going to experience this. I can't fight every battle, right? And sometimes we get caught up with everything's got to be a battle. I am not going to allow anything to happen to me that ain't right. You know, again, that keeping it 100. Some things I'm just going to walk through because it's not even worth it. And that's where that, you know, don't take it personally. That's not about me. If you're racist, if you're biased, if you have these issues, that has nothing to do with me. That's your poison. That's your thing that you got to deal with, right?
Amen.
Now, I may not give you that grace and try to kill you with kindness because you're racist, right? Like you say, kill them with kindness, you know. So I may not extend you that grace. I may just go ahead and do my business and get out, right? And let that be it.
Amen.
But
Amen.
for me, that helps me to walk through the world because there are so many things that are so much more serious, right? My health, the virus, watching what happened with this man in the wheelchair. So it's those sayings, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Well, we have all these sayings, but we don't give people those tangible tools. And while you and I are now seasoned and more mature in how we deal with things, there are other people that are listening to the podcast that may listen to it later that aren't there yet. Right. And so they're used to saying, hey, you know what? If there's conflict, if you're going to come at me or disrespect me, I can't allow that to happen. I'm going to stop it in its tracks. Right. And what I'm saying is you can do that. That's your right to do it. But you end up living life like this, where it's just constantly, I'm up, you know, and you're getting up for these things. And I'm trying to live life a little bit more like this. I know that I'm going to have these downs. I know that loved ones are going to pass away. I know I'm going to have health issues. I know I'm going to have these other challenges. And so I want to save my energy and my emotions to deal with those things that are outside of my locus of control. And that's going to take a lot of energy and pain out of me, and let those other things go as much as humanly possible. And what we see when we begin to unravel is we're dealing with some higher, bigger things in our life, and those little things start hitting on us, right? So we're going through that. Mommy, daddy, things don't go right. You done spilled your coffee, and you look up, and now you're just in this super sour mood, and you don't know how to get out of it. I was talking with, shout out to Rob. He said, today I just woke up and I was on the wrong side of the bed. And we all have that experience, right? How do you get yourself out of that when you just wake up in that space sometimes?
So, is that a question?
No, it's not.
No,
Because
let's let that be a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's let that be a question. But I want to before I get to that question.
Oh, you got the pen out taking notes. Uh-oh.
No. I'm writing stuff down so I don't forget it, because you know me, I get to boom, boom, boom. Anyway, because I was saying I wanted to give another tangible, right? Mm-hmm. And I like this. Because before I give this tangible, and I really like that we kind of got on this path. We're in a world right now where we're living in a very chaotic world. Globally, it's chaotic. When you look out into the world, it's chaotic. And unfortunately, some people don't even have the escape of being able to come home and get away from the chaos. Even their home life is chaotic, right? Mm-hmm. And so, kind of learning these skills, because hearing them is one thing, but learning them is another one, right? And it takes practice. I feel like is very, very important, because there is a lot of, like I said, just chaos before us. And if we can, mitigate some of the smaller, occurrences in our daily lives, it will make the bigger ones a little bit more manageable. So I really thank you for getting us down this path, and I hope we kind of continue it, because I'm 2 minutes from bedtime, bro. I done been up all day. Anyway, I gotta get up early. Anyway, I'm for the people, I'm gonna push a little bit harder tonight though. But another tangible I want to give people is learning how to properly direct your anger. Okay. And or another way of saying that is don't lose control of your anger, right? So when I say properly direct your anger, right, when you're upset, something then clicked you, right, ticked you, and it got you like boom, right? Maybe you and your spouse had a disagreement, and you're like foul about that disagreement, right? Leave that anger in that space. So don't sit and turn and now direct that anger towards other individuals that have nothing to do with that situation. One, you should shouldn't be getting that angry. No way. What I'm saying?
How do I do that? If I do get that angry, how do I not direct it at other people? That's what people need. That's the tool in the toolbox.
Well, first you gotta the first part of that tangible is realizing, like I said, properly directing that anger, not losing control of it, and saying, hey, this is the situation that I'm upset about, right? So I'm going to be upset about this situation, but because we have a lot of different encounters throughout our days, we're going to say, hey, okay, now I'm in another situation, I can't bring that anger to this situation. And so if you have to mentally visualize, a person or a situation where you would not allow that anger to happen, right? So let's put it this way, right? All right, if you know what I'm saying, let's for our younger viewers, well, I'm gonna put it this way, right? You wouldn't go in front of your principal cussing, right? Because you know you're gonna get suspended. So you know, even if you like curse 24/7, you know, in front of certain people, you don't curse, right? And
Or the
so
judge. That's
or
where
the
the
judge.
or the
There you
judge.
go, or the judge, right? So imagine, you know what I'm saying, that next those other, you know, encounters, you're in front of the judge or the principal, and you're like, okay, I know I can't, you know, flip out and get, you know what I'm saying, bossy with this, you know, judge or the principal because, you know, that's detrimental to, you know, my future, right? So, you know what I'm saying, if you have to visually, you know what I'm saying, like visualize that in each situation, then you know that's one way to just start carrying it and start practicing till you can get to the point where you realize, like, okay, you know, whatever situation happened, you know what I'm saying, I stood my toe on the corner of my bed. You know what? I'm angry at my bed, and I'm gonna leave that anger right there. So when I see my bed, I'm gonna look at it side eyes tonight when I come back to bed. Like, I remember this morning. But as I go throughout the rest of my day, you know, when I see my brother Marwan, you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna think about the stub toe, you know what I'm saying, because now I'm in a different space, in a different situation, and that's how I properly direct my anger, right? The anger's at the bed, you know what I'm saying, it's not at my wand. So I'm not going to talk to you, you know what I'm saying, with tension in my voice, and you know, like you didn't did me something, because we know some people, they get angry, and then the next person they talking to is like, what I do to you, you know what I'm saying? But that person's angry with somebody else, and that can affect relationships, you know what I'm saying, friendships, you know what I'm saying, or intimate relationships and stuff. Huh?
I'm guilty of that myself. I'm not always impeccable with my word. There are times I take things personally.
Yeah, that's not good. So we have to practice. We have to practice, you know what I'm saying, properly directing our anger, and it strengthens, you know what I'm saying, it can actually strengthen relationships, especially when a person like knows that, like, okay, man, you know, I know you upset about X, Y, and Z because maybe they have some inside or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They seen you stub your toe this morning, you know, but it's like, yeah, I'm not directing that towards you, and like I'm talking to you with, you know what I'm saying, like normal, right? You know, even if it takes like a, hey, you know what I'm saying, I'm kind of in a little bit of a way, can I talk with you in about 5 minutes, you know, so I can mentally check myself, right? You know what I'm saying? So if you're in a disagreement with your spouse, and the kids come up, right? You don't never want to take that out on them. So you say, hey, you know, hey, sweetie, buddy, whatever, you know, let me talk to you in a couple of minutes, you know, just give me a second to gather my thoughts, and I'll come help you out with your homework, or you know, come throw the ball around, or you know, play tea party with you, or whatever else, you know, your kids may want to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, say, hey, just give me a second and I'm coming, you know, I just need 5 seconds, you know, to myself. So you can mentally check yourself and say, hey, I don't want to direct, because you never, please, parents, don't ever do that to your kids. Please don't. You know, don't ever, I don't care what you're upset about. Don't ever direct your you know, misdirect your anger towards your children, you know. But you know, so you know, and that takes practice. All of these things take practice, you know, and so learning how to do that can also be crucial in those times where, like you was talking about earlier, brother Marwan, when we get pulled over, you know, and like we in some kind of way, you know what I'm saying, because I didn't got pulled over. When we learn how to properly direct our anger, and like you said, like, okay, I'm in the line and I come up and they not treating me to, you know what I'm saying, like they treated the previous person or whatever, you know, when we start learning how to properly direct all of, and anger, you know, is the biggest one, and that's why I picked that one. But we need to learn how to properly direct all of our emotions and say, hey, you know, I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying, let this emotion, you know what I'm saying, interfere in this particular situation, because emotions, in my opinion, should be reserved, you know, especially intense motions, but they should be reserved for those you love, right? You know, so I don't want to give like, you know, even anger, you know what I'm saying, towards somebody that don't mean nothing to me. Like you ain't worth, you know, me giving you, you know, showing you my anger. Like, nah, you know. And so I used to be a very angry person. I think I told you that before. I've learned how to like not be as angry, you know, by voicing my opinion. But we have to learn how to you know, and practice, you know, directing our emotions, and anger is the biggest one. Learn how to direct that so it doesn't interfere with other situations throughout your day, because every day is filled with a lot of little battles. And like you said, we have to learn how to choose which ones we're going to fight, you know, and which one and what ground we're going to, you know, accede and say, okay, you know, concede and say, yeah, you got that spot, and bam, I'm gonna go this way, you know, and I'll come and take that ground at another time, you know, once I'm at a higher position or whatever.
Well,
But
Rip,
yeah,
you said something that I wanted to
go ahead.
on too, because you said, you know, what's the point getting angry? You know, they're not even worth it. I think the other part is true. They may actually be worth it. They may be a loved one or someone that you care about, and so they are worth you not taking your anger out on them when it's not applicable to them, right? So
Yeah,
you can think about it that way too. A lot of times
yeah,
we put it in, we think that's power by saying you ain't even worth it. And it's like, no, no, actually, you are worth it. And that I do want to have a good relationship with you. I don't want to take that out with you. I do respect you. I do care about you. I don't want to hurt you. One of the things that
yeah,
I've started to do, and I say all the time, right? It is very difficult, and oftentimes black men do not have the ability to have a full range of emotion, right? If we're angry, then we're dangerous, right? I mean, we're just dangerous because we exist, but we can't show anger. We can't show frustration, we can't get loud. So there are times now when I'm angry, I let people know, look, right now I'm angry. This isn't about you, but my voice is going to be raised as I'm speaking. It's going to sound harsh. From a distance, people that don't know what's going on might think I'm yelling at you, but I'm going to let you know this isn't about you right now, but I'm trying to get this out. And by doing that, that helps the other person understand, okay, this ain't about me. Because I'm not cursing them out. I'm just, you know, man, I'm tired of this and I'm sick of this situation and da 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 da. And I can get that out. And that person now understands this isn't about me. There's nothing to do with me. Thank you. You're allowing me that space to vent, right? Another thing that I do is I tell folks, I say, look, you know, right now, my emotional intelligence is low. And so what that means is that I'm in my emotions, right? And my emotions are not in check, and I'm not in a space because maybe it's a meeting or something else, and I can't disengage right now. So I'm not going to give you the most logical answer that Mr. Cameron can give. I'm going to give you the emotional, raw, I'm angry, I'm irrational, until I'm able to pull back and get it there, right? Because there are times when we can't disengage. And by doing that, my hope is that they in turn can say, okay, this ain't about me. I no longer need to make the assumption because you told me what it is. And now I don't need to take it personally and we can move through it because it is a symbiotic relationship. And so the last thing I wanted to cover, because you're getting ready to end, is, you know, I like to come up with lists for folks. And so how do you begin doing this? One, first think back to a time, the last time you were angry. So people are like, well, how do I get started? And you know, the next time I get angry, what do I do? Well, first, think back to the last time you're angry. That's pretty easy for you to do. And some of us get angry a lot, right? We're the Incredible Hulk. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. So think back the last time you were angry and play that scenario. How did you handle that situation? What did you do? Did you blow up at other people? How long were you angry? How did you handle that? The third thing you can do is say, what could you have done different? If you could go back now in your rational self and say, man, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I could have handled that better. Well, what were those things that you could have done? Now that you have those first three things done, let me jump in there.
So number three, I think you need to change it
Go ahead.
because we see that a lot. You know what I'm saying? And that has actually become real cliche. What could you have done different? What could I have done different? No, that's not the question that needs to be asked. The
Go ahead.
question that needs to be asked and on the top of our mind is, what will I do different? Because most often the situation is
You didn't
gonna.
let me get there, Rev. I'm
Oh,
getting
I'm sorry.
five.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But first, you have to analyze. You have to have. So if
Yeah.
we're gonna look at a golfer swing, if we're gonna look at the free throw shooting, right? We've got to have an analysis, right? We've got to
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
a body
I
of
got
work
you.
to research, right?
I got
That's
you. I got you.
first thing back to the incident, analyze it, right? We're gonna go ahead and say, how did I handle it, and what could I have done differently? That's where number 4 comes in. Now you're gonna plan to use the tools to react in the improved way the next time you get angry. So the next time I get triggered, the next time I stub my toe or I have that incident, this is what I'm going to attempt to do. And then when that situation happens, the 5th thing for you to do is assess how you did, continue to practice because that's how you get better, and then tweak it if needed. We come up with plans all the time. That plan isn't going to be a perfect plan. That plan may become antiquated and you may need to tweak it a little bit and change it. You may need to throw the baby out with the bathwater because the way you thought you were going to deal with it just totally doesn't work. But these are 5 things that you can do to begin improving how you walk through life.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
Keep yourself from blowing up at things that you don't need to blow up on. Making a mountain out of a molehill. Putting yourself in situations that you wouldn't normally put yourself in, or putting yourself in unnecessary danger, right? And again, to play it back to the video and to talk about all the news at Walmart and the violence that we're seeing, and everyone from adults to kids that are off the chain right now. If I could do these things, I'm probably going to mitigate quite a bit.
Okay, so I'm gonna add on for our Christian audience. First thing you want to do. So we're gonna go 1A and then 1B. 1A is pray. All right, you want to pray about the situation. Then 5B is pray. All right, so we got 5A, assess how you did, continue to practice and tweak if needed, and then again pray about what you did. You know what I'm saying? And because as a Christian, I learned that I'm unable to do anything of my own accord. There's many things that I tried to do and I was unsuccessful. I utterly failed time and time again, no matter how many plans I made and everything else. But until I turned it over to the Lord and sought His strength in doing it and sought after Him, He was able to make those changes within me. And so prayer is very powerful. It's the one thing that the enemy hates to see a Christian doing is praying, because when we get to talking with our Father, things happen. So pray and pray some more. At the beginning of the situation, in the middle of the situation, and after the situation, pray. I'm gonna tell you guys something, a little trick, you know what I'm saying? That not a trick, a little secret that I learned along the way, right? You can pray any time of the day. All right. You don't have to necessarily have to be down on all on your knees praying, right? So when you're in the middle of a situation and that split second is happening, right? Bam. What am I finna do? Am I finna jap out? I'm finna be calm. I don't know. Pray. Right there in the middle of the situation. Father, before I open my mouth, give me the wisdom to deal with this situation as you would see fit. Just something real simple like that. In Jesus' name, amen. Right? And before you open your mouth. And then next thing you know, you saying something you ain't even thought you had up in you, right? So pray, and pray again. Pray. If you give me 5 minutes, I want to talk with the audience a little bit about some upcoming changes with the New Horizon Ministries.
Yeah, please do.
If you don't mind. I'm past my bad time, folk, but the Reverend love you, so I'm toughing it out. No, but seriously, so the New Horizon Ministries, we finna do some things differently coming up in the new year. And after much prayer and consideration, a couple of things that's going to change in the new year to make worship service a little bit more accessible to the community. Is we're going to be having worship service on Saturdays. Um, Possibly looking at two services a day. I mean, on Saturdays, two services. Uh, I'm still praying on that, but we're definitely going to be moving to a Saturday service. And it'll still be as usual at 11 a.m. on Saturdays. The very first service, Saturday service, will be this December 25, December 25th, the day that we celebrate the miraculous birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ. We will be having a Saturday morning service at 10 a.m. And so we invite you all to come out and join us Saturday, December 25th.
Rev, what's your new address? Because you moved.
Oh yeah. I'm getting around to that too. Let me finish with the days first. Second, because we'll be moving our services to Saturdays, we'll be moving our worship services Saturdays. We'll be moving our Bible studies to Tuesdays, and we're on a winter schedule right now, which means we meet a little bit earlier because it gets dark. So we meet at 5 p.m. And so the first we're on a hiatus for December. So the first Tuesday of January, which I think is the 4th, we will be having a 5 p.m. Bible study every Tuesday until the springtime when we'll go back to 6 p.m. We recently moved to a new location in East Bremerton. Our new location is 4040 Wheaton Way. We're on the second floor. It's very easy to find. If you know where the KFC is at on the east side, we're right in that parking lot at the back. And you go in and go up to the second floor, and you won't have any problems finding us. Again, that's every Saturday and Tuesday. I keep regular office hours unless emergency happens to pop up. Like today, I had to leave early to take my daughter into the urgent care. But my regular office hours are from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. Tuesday through Friday right now. In the new year, it'll be Monday through Friday. So, but right now, 10 a.m. Yeah, Monday through Friday. I'm there because I'm still there on Mondays. Yeah. So anyway, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can find me at our new location, 4040 Wheaton Way. You missed a zero, brother Marwan. So it's 4040 Wheaton Way in Bremerton. Same parking lot as the KFC, just all the way in the back, second floor. And I am. Say it again. My wife said it's the old mental health building. For those of you who know it by that name. Also,
you said 40, Rev?
Yeah, 4040.
40. Okay.
Yeah, 4040 Wheaton Way. That's Bremerton 98310. And we do have a office number. If if like you're one of those people that you're at work doing those hours, those my office hours, and you need to like maybe meet earlier or later, that's totally fine. Just give me a call, and I'm gonna give you the phone number for that, which is, hold on, I gotta look up my own number, y'all. It's 360. No. That's the wrong one. Okay. Brother Mawan.
Wow. You're right. While you looking it up, I'm gonna give you the give you the horn.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
blessed to be able to help the Rev move the church, move some of the things.
Yes. Thank you.
It's a beautiful space that they're in. It's right across the street from the Kitsap Transit Center, the new one that's built right on Wheaton Way. So really accessible. I know that Rev was saying one of the reasons why they're moving their church service to Saturday is because buses are running, and so they want to be more accessible to folks to come in and worship and access the church and the services that they have. So super excited about that. And I put the wrong zip code in there again. That's 98310.
Yes, 10.
So,
Okay. We have a new phone number. You can find you'll be able to find it on our website, and we do have a website. It's still being developed every day, but it's up and running. The website is just our name, newhorizonministries.org. So you can go on there and find a lot of great information and links to different things or whatever. You can always go in there, go to the website as well, and to support our ministry and the things that we do. Coming up in the new year, we're going to be doing a pilot program where we'll be doing some tutoring of our younger students, helping them out on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So parents that work and they're used to the kids being at school until like 3 o'clock or whatever, reach out to me and let me know if you want to sign your child up. I got about 10 spaces or so available. So that's something new that's happening as well. Like Brother Mawan was saying, one of the reasons we're moving to Saturdays is to make it more accessible for people that don't have private transportation. We're right across the street from the transfer station, so real easy to get to and find. Pretty much can hop on almost any bus, and it'll bring you to that transfer station in Bremerton. And am I forgetting anything, Brother Mawan? I did not write notes down, and I'll be forgetting stuff.
No, I think you hit a lot. I'm super excited. That this is what we were going to talk about tonight. And as the last several conversations with the Rev has been talking about what's wrong with the Black church, and do Christians know they're going to hell. And to speak on that, I think what's missing for me personally, and what I hear from a lot of folks, is that tangible piece. So the Bible says faith without works is dead, and so it's the work piece that I have a disconnect with. So I can get the words, I can read the word, I can pray, I can be faithful, but I need some action items that I can do as I'm building my relationship with God. And so I think by laying those things out, so how do I deal with stressful events or anger? And to me, this is merging the two together, where oftentimes, and this is why I personally don't have a church home, is I get the Bible taught to me, but I don't know how to apply it to my life on an actionable way on a day-to-day basis. And so these conversations to me are very helpful for my own personal relationship, and I hope that it's filling in a gap for some other folks too.
Amen. Well, I'll tell you one thing, bro. I am half blonde. You may not know this, but I'm half blonde. So you gotta break stuff down sometimes, because they go over my head. Like today, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm telling you tangible, but yeah, break it down a little bit more. And I got you. Yeah, we get. There's there's a lot of day-to-day things within the word, and that's one of my endeavors as far as my teaching, is how to make the Bible applicable, to our daily living, and I want to make, the word of God, more readily understandable to people, so that they can, see how it is that they can apply it to their daily living, their everyday living, because I live out the word every day, and I know that others can as well. So, I appreciate our conversations. I love how you challenge me and you push me, and I think it's good, and I pray that the people that tune in, that they get something from it, and that it helps them in some type of way. So I look forward to next week. Um, I'm gonna talk with you behind the scenes. But what I want to say on camera is thank you to Marwan personally for helping us with moving. Thank you to Rob as well for helping us moving. And thank you to G2 for all of y'all support continuing. I look forward to 2022. Um,
And don't forget Raymond there.
and Raymond, I charge it to my brain, not my heart, brother. Yes, Raymond, and the helpers that came out. Thank each and every one of you guys as well. I really appreciate all the help. It was a lot of hard work. I'm still recovering. My back is, I'm starting to feel that fall now. Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, I'm starting to feel that fall now. And I was telling my daughter I should have probably had them look at me tonight too, but no here there. I move forward. But thank you very much. And so I look forward to next week as well, where I want to ask you a question though.
Oh boy.
Is it okay for Black men to cry?
Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about that next week, because I think in our community, a lot of Black men, feel like they got to be strong all the time. And, and it's not so much about the crying part. It's, more about, trying to uphold this, appearance of just like being, I'm tough, I'm strong or whatever. And so, let's talk about that next week.
Well, the opposite is true, right? Well, and that's what I said. Black men are not able to have a full range of emotions, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of men that aren't able to, right? For a myriad of reasons. But the strength is being able to cry, being able to be vulnerable, being able to be hurt. You hurt me. I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm
in
pain.
Yeah. And so we talked about some tangibles, pretty much dealing with conflict and aggression and so forth. But let's talk about some tangibles of of sharing our emotions, of how we share our emotions, and when and where is appropriate, what I'm saying, and safe places and safe people to do it with. So what do you think about that for next week?
Oh, I love it. I like it.
All right. Well, let's talk about that next week and give some tangibles for that. I also want to it's a little bit early, but we're very close to the midnight hour, because, it's past 9 o'clock, my bedtime. But so
midnight hour.
yeah, bro, it's real close to midnight. So I want to wish my brother happy birthday, early happy birthday. Tomorrow's his birthday. So to Sean, happy birthday. And I'll give you a call, bro.
Bedtime alarm.
Yeah, that's my bed.
Rev ain't playing.
No. That's the hey, you ain't in bed yet.
The phone said go to bed.
Yes, it does.
Well, go ahead, Rev. Jump off. I'm gonna finish up a little bit. I wanted to just have a few more minutes of reflection based on, just the things that my objective on why we do this show from my point of view. And so I don't want to keep you up any more than that. I know you want to lay down, but I just wanted to reflect on that and why this is happening, how it is.
Yeah, I got an early morning and busy tomorrow. All right. I love you all. God bless you. God keep you. And may you always, always, always be encouraged in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. And
all right. We appreciate Pastor Reverend Ellington. Again, 4040 Wheaton Way on Saturday at 11 a.m. Their first service will be Christmas Day. Yeah, Rev is about to turn into a pumpkin for sure. You know, a lot of times it's really easy for us to complain about a situation, the state of the world, or whatever. We do it in social media all the time on Facebook, on Twitter, uh, but we very rarely or not enough take action to fix it. I am highly critical of the black church right now. And I feel that the black church isn't what it used to be. And it could be so much more. But I can attack, I can criticize, I can tear down the black church, or I can criticize and then also talk about what could change, how it can change, how it could be a part of being the solution and not just being a part of the problem or just rejecting it outright. And we know that nationally, enrollment in the black church has been declining. Actually, enrollment in all churches has been declining as people are becoming more spiritual and less religious or atheists or whatever. They're just turning away from the church. I still believe that that is the bedrock and the cornerstone of the black community. And if you have an infrastructure that is already set, then fix it. Fix it. Why reinvent the wheel when it was so strong and so powerful? And again, that goes for any community, but I'm black first, so that is my first and foremost focal point on doing that. And so that's why I have these conversations with Pastor Ellington, and I am as he was being appreciative of me and G2 and all of us. I'm appreciative to him because he's willing to have this in a vulnerable space for all to see. I showed him the video and he said, "Look, you know, forgive me. This is my first initial response to this video that I'm watching." And so he may change what he says or how he thinks about that scenario as he goes forward. And that's fair. That's not always the scenario with a lot of people. And what I see in many churches is Sunday is the day that you get the word, right? You were given the word. This isn't a two-way thing. So you come, there's a sermon, you sing the songs, and you go. Well, there's no dialogue back and forth. With Bible study, there is a study that's been laid out either by quarter or by year or by theme or whatever. So you may be able to ask questions within that context, but it's you know, hey, it's just like a subject at school, right? Hey, I want to talk about the Pythagorean theorem, but right now we're dealing with polynomials. Well, you know what? You need to save that for another day, or see me after class, or do whatever, right? Well, that's not helpful. I need this information. And so, yes, maybe you drop in on those office hours that the ministry has, and you can get your questions answered. But we're also very busy, right? And so there's a lot of different things that kind of compete with that. One of the things that the Rev didn't say, and I thought this was really powerful from him, and he's like, "Look, I'm competing against the world, right? And right now it's football season." And so what do you hear, right? And he's got a lot of Saints fans at his church, but he's got Seahawks fans also, right? So your mind is already split. You want to get out, you want to make sure you make it to the game. If they're playing a home game, are you trying to go to the game, right? Well, I won't be in church Sunday. Oh, the church is at 10 you know, the game's at 10 a.m. This week. It's not the 1 o'clock game. So I'm gonna miss service, or I'm checking on my phone. So are you really focused on God right there when you're looking at the score? And so he said, you know what? I'm going to reduce some of that competition with the church. And I think that's really brave. I think that's really smart. Um, I think, you know, the black church went through that when, you know, the church is as it ages, and we have our old hymns and the Negro spirituals and things of that nature. And then it started getting younger, and there was that resistance. And then you had your Kirk Franklins and all that new age music. We had hip hop and rap, you know, Christian rap and all that resistance. And now it's a lot more accepted. But there's a lot of resistance in that when it's first introduced. So I think he's very forward thinking. And if you're going to bring people back, you know, we always talk about, oh, you got to meet people where they're at. But the church can be like, yeah, well, we'll meet you where you're at if you come. Well, you're not meeting them where they at, right? So I enjoy what he's trying to do and the fact that he's willing to do it. And I appreciate that he comes on here in a very vulnerable way and talks about his thought and his beliefs, and understanding too that even if you are a minister or a deacon or a pastor of a church, right? You don't ascend to a level and it's like, ah, I'm done, right? I made it to the end. Your relationship. He is going to continue to sin and fall short of the glory of God, and he has to continue to do that work. And sometimes that's said, and they may say it all the time, but it seems more cliche or just it's just kind of a saying for me. I think it's very difficult for people to, and this is what a lot of my students and folks that I work with share with me, right? That you present in a certain way, right? Oh, you're put together, you're at this stage in your life now, and everything is this, that, and the other. And it's like, yes, I am at a different stage of maturity and I handle things in a different way, but I was where you were at. And so that disconnect is, how do I get there? How do I get there? Well, don't tell me that it's just time. Don't tell me it's just prayer. Don't tell me it's just faith. What can I do to start moving on that path? What does it look like? What can I say? Okay, all right, I do this and I've made this gain, right? I did this and all right, that kind of worked, but I need to go and do that. So you need some of those tools. And for me, again, personally, and I'm speaking personally for myself, but I will also say that many folks that I speak with that are no longer in the church do feel the same way, right? Is there that is a huge disconnect. So you are talking at us, you are preaching the word, you're giving us the word, but we don't know how to apply the word in our life, right? Oh, it's the 10 commandments. Don't steal, don't kill, don't covet thy neighbor's wife, don't do this, don't do that. Okay, but what does that actually look like? And I think that piece is missing. And I hope that this is an opportunity and some of you find this helpful to say, okay, all right, I've got the word, I can digest the word anywhere, whatever church it is, and then I can get some of these tangibles here. And maybe your church is doing some of those things, but it is definitely something that I think that is a void. And we are in a microwave society. We are in a quickly changing society, and we are in a I don't want to say dangerous. It is dangerous. And it's dangerous physically, it's dangerous spiritually, and it's dangerous mentally. So how do we build up and inoculate ourselves as much as possible against all the attacks that we're facing? Um, One of the things that I wanted to say when he was talking about pray, 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 right? He wanted to add on. He was like, pray in the beginning, pray in the middle, and pray at the end. And we know that prayer does work, right? There's actually studies that show that. But we also know that meditation works, right? Mindfulness works. And what I would add to that, and that's what I want to try to do here, is say, when you're praying, they also talk about breathing exercises, right? You can breathe in and out deeply, from your diaphragm, inhale through your nose, exhale out of your nose. Now I can pray at the same time that I'm doing that. I taught business math at the college, and math is a super trigger for so many people. And so one of the things that I would do with them is I had a counselor come in and teach mindfulness to them. Say, okay, sit up straight in your chair, put your feet solid on the ground. And if you're sitting in a chair at home, you could try this, or if you're at work, put your feet solid on the ground, put your hands on your lap. Go ahead and close your eyes. And right now, just feel your body. Just breathe. Doesn't matter what you're thinking. We're not trying to clear your mind. Just let whatever thoughts come to you. Feel the breath going in and out of your lungs. Feel your feet on the ground. Breathe in through your nose, full breaths, out through your mouth. At the college, I can't tell folks to pray, but this is that peanut butter and jelly. So if that is something that you want to try, then add that into it. And I've never heard anyone say that before, to merge mindfulness with prayer. And if it's not prayer, then it can be positive self talk. And so I would tell folks when they're taking a test, all right, I read all the chapters, I completed all the homework, I went to the tutoring center, I got a good night's sleep, I ate a good breakfast, I'm ready. I'm going to do the best job that I can. I'm going to leave it all on the paper. And again, whether it's words of affirmation, positive self talk, or prayer, along with the breathing, you go ahead and you open your eyes, and then you go ahead and recenter yourself. So it could be that you're having an argument or a conflict with a friend or with a spouse. Just take a moment. Maybe you're getting ready to face something stressful like a test or a situation or a scenario, an interview. Maybe you're getting ready to go to court. You're getting ready to go into a mediation for child support or whatever. Maybe you woke up on the wrong side of the bed and you realized, I got my cup of coffee, I've been up for 30 minutes and I'm just still ain't right. I'm just going to stop. Man, I woke up this morning. My daughter's okay. My kids are safe. My boys are all right. My spouse is in the room asleep. I'm blessed to have a cup of coffee, to be sitting on this couch, to not be out in the elements. I know I got to deal with some stressful things today. I'm looking for housing. I've got to deal with some people that I'm not looking forward to dealing with. I've got to go into a job that is thankless. The customers are horrible. My coworkers are horrible. My boss is horrible. The job is horrible. But I got it. And I'm going to take power over it. I'm looking for a new job. I am going to receive a paycheck from it. I'm healthy. Those are things that can help you. And the more that you practice these things, the better you'll get at it. The less that things will impact you as you go through it. And we all have those days where it just seems like the world has conspired against you. Like I said, you spilled the coffee, you stepped on the cat getting out the bed, you peed on the floor for the men. There's no more creamer, no eggs. You're late. The shirt you were going to wear was dirty. Whatever. Kids aren't being helpful. They're a hot mess. They're stressing you out. You don't have any support today. You just feel like you're doing it all alone. All right. I got these tools that I can use. I thought about the last time I was angry or I was frustrated. I can change that word. I was frustrated. I had anxiety. I may not always be able to pacify that with marijuana or whatever I use. How did I handle that situation last time? What could I have done differently? I didn't try the breathing. I didn't try the praying. I didn't try the words of affirmation, the positive self-talk. Many of us have smartphones. We can set alerts. I turned it off on my phone, but every hour it would tell me to stand up. I'm sitting down so many hours of the day. Every hour it would tell me to breathe. It would remind me so I didn't have to think about it. Plan to use your tools to react in an improved way the next time you get angry or anxious or stressed out, or you're getting ready to go into a scenario. You're getting ready to go into work. You're getting ready to go to court. You're getting ready to deal with something that's unpleasant or someone who's unpleasant. Think about how you did. Continue to practice and tweak it if you need it. And as the Rev said, pray in the beginning, pray in the middle, and pray at the end. I'm all about power. You have so much power. We just don't use it. I want you to be empowered. I want you to use your power. I want you to build and sustain the life that you want. Actually, I want you to be resilient, right? But sometimes sustaining comes first. You got to get to a place and then you continue to grow. I want that for each one of you, and you can have it. Baby steps, take action. Don't wait till New Year's. I know it's only 30 days away. Wow. Baby steps, you can do it. We have the steps. A lot of good people that are out there. Find those folks, gravitate toward them. That's why you have workout buddies. They help you to be accountable when you don't feel like you can or you don't want to. That buddy's saying, come on. And after you do it, you feel so good that you did it, right? It's like, man, I wasn't going to do it. And I ended up going to the gym. I ended up doing this, and I feel so good about it. I was going to make a bad choice with food, and I ended up having this delicious salad. It tasted good. I feel good. I'm not feeling heavy. Whatever it is that you're working on. Those folks help you to be accountable. They help to pick you up. They help to uplift you, to motivate you, to push you, and you don't feel like you're doing it alone. All right, it is Wednesday night. Tomorrow night, we will be at the Black Ring Distillery, 6:30 p.m. Res Echo, Resilient Ecosystems. We will have our workshop at 6:30 p.m. Join us then. And then hopefully we will have our Friday night show with Sal and Marwan talking about the end of the week or reviewing the week's topics. So join us then. Have a good night. I hope to hear from you next week and the coming weeks on how that worked for you. All right, look, man, I'm getting a phone call.